Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for June 21st, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 25. I'm in the time machine again for another episode. If you want today's show notes, you can hit !TCR, and ohmTown will spit them out into the channel over on Twitch. Everything is already embedded in the description over on YouTube. That said, we're going to be talking about 28 years later, has already been filmed and on the iPhone. Spaceballs 2, Marvel at a fourth 2028 movie, Nautilus, an undersea sci-fi adventure, and the Remarried Empress live action. The numbers on this are astounding, but we'll take a look. On the other side of this is ohmTown.com, but inside that is the continuity report. That's the name of this show. That's where a lot of our content gets aggregated into. And we're going to be talking about 5 articles. So, see you on the other side of this. Okay, hello everybody. Let's just get going. I'm in a time machine, so I'm going to try and get through this and get out of the time machine and then try and get back into it to play catch up with the other 3 shows that are on Sundays, and that's WarCrafters, TechnologyToday, and FourWheelTech. The 3 different focuses for each of those shows. So hopefully I'll be able to do that today. Stick around. Be sure to follow us, like, and subscribe over on YouTube and here on Twitch. You can subscribe to us and be alerted on Twitch, and over on YouTube you can like and subscribe, ring the bell, that kind of thing. We also have podcasts for long-term storage, and over on YouTube is the VOD as well. All 2,300 episodes are available either as podcast or as VODs. Okay, let's get into it. This first article is over in Non Sequitur News. Danny Boyle says he's filmed 28 years later with iPhones, drones, and a goat. Director Danny Boyle said that he strapped a camera to farm animals while filming 28 years later. The director used iPhones and drones to shoot footage because they were lightweight. And Boyle said that it made the filming way cheaper, which I don't like saying cheap when there's really good quality, but less expensive or financially appropriate, or I don't know what you want to call it, but cheaper just makes it sound cheap. Many Hollywood directors use expensive cameras to film their blockbusters. Danny Boyle's approach to filming the zombie sequel 28 years later was a bit more experimental. It says they did strap a camera to some animals a couple of times. Yeah, goat. All right. Well, the article is over at businessinsider.com. Emma Jacobs put the article together. Quite the device. Oh, not just any iPhones, but it looks like 16 of them. Look at that. That's pretty intense. The director used iPhones and drones, and that was way cheaper, I guess. Yeah. So the director, whose 2002 horror classic 28 Days Later was shot on digital cameras for a deliberately lo-fi look, was keen to take on a similarly unconventional approach for his follow-up film 2 decades later. So I don't want to ruin anything if there's any spoilery anything in this. It says having done it with goats, you then think, that slow, low shot made it into the film and into the trailer too. And for the film's pulse-pounding chase scenes, Boyle relied on iPhones and drones instead of high-tech equipment. Any smartphone can now record at 4K, indeed up to 60 frames per second. I think 120 frames, which is more than enough resolution you need for cinema exhibition. Wow, that's kind of slamming everybody who's done higher resolution, 8K and beyond. Keeping the crew light on their feet also helped them more easily navigate the wild landscape of Northumberland, the UK region used to film 28 years later. Pretty cool. There's more over in the article. Go and check it out. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in Wanted. And I do want this. Spaceballs 2 added an unlikely legacy character. I hadn't read that part of it. It says, plus Herbie goes up against Megan 2.0 in competing featurettes. This is a different Herbie, though. I don't know if this is about the car or not. So the art, oh gosh, it has a spoiler. Okay, hold on. We have a thing for that. Spoiler alert. I don't know if I want to even continue. I don't really get spoiled by things, but other people get spoiled by things. Anyway, James Whitbrook and Gordon Jackson put the article together. It's over at gizmodo.com. Yeah, so Spaceballs 2, Star Trek Voyager's Tim Russ seemingly confirmed on Twitter that he's set to return as the trooper who ain't found shit while combing the desert in Spaceballs 2. All right, sounds good to me. I'm just going to leave it right there because it immediately broke into something else. Untitled Predator Project. Predator Badlands. Okay, we're just going to leave that alone. And we're going to move on to the next article. It's over in the Continuity Report. Marvel adds possible fourth movie to 2028 slate. Disney announced on Wednesday that Marvel Studios is scheduled to release an untitled movie in December 15th, or on December 15th, 2028. We're planning so far out that... Oh, hold on. Remove the spoiler alert, MayorWatt. Anyway, it would be the fourth feature from the Division set for that calendar year, with previously announced films scheduled to release in February, May, and November. Should all films hold on to that date, that's quite a bevy of films being delivered. Adam B. Very over at Variety.com put the article together. It would be an unexpected move for the studio given Disney CEO Bob Iger's recent public admission that Marvel lost a little focus by making too much. Now maybe they pulled back too far post-COVID, I guess, and they're kind of trying to play catch-up now. It says it's quite unclear, however, whether Marvel will actually release 4 films in 2028. Disney has a history of holding on to release dates for feature projects well past when those films could realistically make those dates. One of the problems is if you say it too early, then people stop paying attention. If you say it too late, then there isn't enough prep. It's a fine line. And if you keep on telling people that it's coming out and then they burn out, then they're going to stop paying attention to you. And it says it's quite unclear, however, whether Marvel will actually release 4 films. They also say here that Marvel's Blade was removed from its November 2025 release only after Disney was ready to slot the 20th Century Studio film Predator Badlands in its place. For 2026 and 2027, Marvel has significantly winnowed its feature slate. After The Fantastic Four First Steps opens in July, the studio is producing 2 films in 2026, Spider-Man Brand New Day, a co-production with Sony Pictures, in July, and Avengers Doomsday in December, and 2 films in 2027, an untitled project in July, and Avengers Secret Wars in December, which I thought Secret Wars... What was the other Secret Wars? There was another Secret Wars, wasn't there? Oh, it's meant to be the finale of the multiverse saga, after which Marvel is expected to pivot to a saga centered around characters inherited in Disney's 2019 acquisition regarding Thunderbolts. Director has been tapped to helm the MCU's first mutant movie, although many actors from Fox's X-Men movies in the 2000s, including Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, will appear in Doomsday. Really? All right, let's keep on going. The next article is over in the Continuity Report as well. Nautilus Review. There's a lot I liked about the underwater sci-fi adventure, but not enough to make it a must-watch. That's not me saying it. I'm just quoting them. Nautilus is finally arriving on screens in the U.S. following a difficult journey. Originally commissioned on Disney Plus but now airing on AMC and AMC Plus. The series is an original story for Captain Nemo from the Jules Verne novel 20,000 Leagues Under the Seas. While not an especially well-known character in the current zeitgeist, the spin on the Indian prince turned pirate focuses on his fight against the oppressive British Empire, specifically the ruthless capitalism of the East India Mercantile Company. And boy, is that kind of ideological bent, the whole creation of the East India Mercantile Company and the various machinations of history still rearing its head even in the 21st century, tapping into his thirst for vengeance as something modern audiences might relate to. I don't know. I don't think modern audiences even really understand the modern context of what is happening in the world today. It's not like it's highly taught. Sarah Moran over at ScreenRant.com put this article together. Says it almost works, but Nautilus is also attempting to capture the wide-eyed wonder of exploring the oceans in the world's first submersible. These two themes clash more than they complement each other, and it's hard to know exactly which is meant to be the main thrust of the series. Despite that weird dichotomy, Nautilus is largely an enjoyable watch, with a 10-episode season that's better at delivering a weekly sci-fi fantasy adventure than it is a deep dive into the evils of imperialism. But it's riding a fine line, it sounds like it. So, at any rate, Nautilus has the look and feel of a show from another decade. It comes across like it's supposed to have been made some 20 years ago. It feels more like television of the late 90s, early 2000s, harkening back to shows like Farscape, Sequest DSV, and Stargate SG-1. I'm here for it. I like the sci-fi fantasy side of things, so I want to watch this. I'll have to look it up and see if I can actually, if I'm already subscribed to something that can get it, then win. But I don't know if I'm going to subscribe to something to maybe see it and pay for it. I don't know. We'll have to look at this. Maybe it's in the mayoral budget. Who knows? Thankfully, this uncertainty in tone and intended audience doesn't detract from how good Nautilus looks. The show reportedly had a pretty significant budget, and the design and execution of the sets, costumes, and visual effects are all excellent. So there's a whole lot more over here at ScreenRant.com. I won't go through the whole thing. They asked the question if Nautilus will get a season 2. Certainly a setup, but the show's future is murky at best, and that's largely because, well, it's supposed to be a Disney Plus thing where it could have caught, wind and pulled the show forward, but it didn't premiere on Disney Plus. It's airing on AMC and AMC Plus, and I haven't heard any marketing until this article. So thank you, Sarah Moran, for that. But if it's invisible to people, then there's not going to be a second season, and it being relegated to AMC Plus, it just might stay there. It may not. It may just be that one season. But if they left it cliffy and enough people get drawn to it, I don't know. Maybe we can talk about it in another episode after I get to see it. We'll talk more about it. But there's a whole lot more on this article. So follow the link through ohmTown or in the show notes over on YouTube and check it out. It'll also be in the show notes for the podcast as soon as I post it. So maybe tonight. We'll see. All right, our last article for the June 21st continuity report is the continuity report is where it's stashed. Disney Plus adapts hit Korean webtoon, The Remarried Empress, as live action series. And this is why I wanted to talk about this. Disney Plus has greenlit The Remarried Empress, a live-action adaptation of the chart-topping Korean web novel and webtoon series that has amassed over 2.6 billion views to date. It's a romantic fantasy drama. I won't go into the whole thing over at Variety. Naman Ramachandran put the article together. She looks like iCarly. For whatever reason, that just kind of hit me that she looks like iCarly. Anyway, a chart-topping Korean web novel and webtoon series that has amassed over 2.6 billion views to date. I'm really curious about this, so I'm probably going to end up watching this. I don't know when it's going to show up. I don't know if there's an English translation of this Remarried Empress web novel. Obviously. Well, not obviously. No one would know that I don't know Korean. But, I am really interested in stuff that draws that much attention. That many views is pretty spectacular. So it's based on a popular webtoon of the same name. It follows a story of Navier, a perfect empress whose world is turned upside down when her husband returns home with a mistress and demands a divorce. Rather than accept defeat, Navier agrees to the divorce but counters by asking to marry a rival prince of the Western Kingdom, setting off a tale of political intrigue, romance, and a fight to reclaim stolen power. Wow. Dun, dun, dun. Soap opera. Well, anyway, pretty fascinating. There's more over at Variety and this article about Disney adapting a hit Korean webtoon, The Remarried Empress, as a live action series. Good on them. So hopefully it converts. Anyway, that's it for me. We are going to adapt ourselves to the front page of the continuity report over at ohmTown.com. Go over and sign up, sign in, become a citizen of ohmTown. And what that affords you is there's another icon right here that will appear and give you some more options. But other than that, there's no advertising, no subscription, no nothing. You can follow us here on Twitch and here on YouTube. Join us every time we go live. Be sure to make sure that you get the alerts so that you know when we go live. My mayoral duties tend to keep me from doing it in a reliable manner as of the last couple of weeks. But I'm going to try and get back into it starting Sunday. And I'm doing time machine episodes until I can catch up. So I'm trying to make it work, folks. Mayoral duties. Sometimes I just get overwhelmed sometimes. It can't be everywhere. If you want to do one of these shows, we have 50 channels. If you want to host or co-host, get in touch. Send me an email, mayor@ohmTown. Tell me what show you want to host or co-host, and we'll talk. We'll work together and make it happen. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye, everybody.